Hey guys, welcome back to Nicole's View. So, I saw a few of my fellow YouTubers was talking about this shitty ass typical CNN town hall. You know, when something major is going on in the news, they'll throw together these shitty ass town halls, and for the most part, it does nothing. It accomplishes nothing. It solves nothing. Most times there's a bunch of white supremacists or there are a bunch of coons. And this right here represents that all the way. I can only muster sitting through half of it so far. I've watched about maybe 15, 20 minutes of it. This particular clip that someone uploaded, it's like 30 plus minutes or something like that. But I just want to talk about the very beginning of it. It's just going to piss you off. They have, first of all, Spike Lee literally by himself. So this is set up to gang up on, I guess, the person who is like pro versus con. You have two coons plus a fence rider, suspected white supremacist in my eyes. And in the first 15 to 20 minutes of this, it is nothing but bullshit. It is nothing but, like I made my video last night about how these devils have hijacked the conversation. I don't hear anyone talking about the victims of these race soldiers, these white supremacist cops. They are steadily focusing on the anthem. They are steadily focusing on veterans. They're steadily focusing on a fucking flag. This is why we have to push. We have to shove it down their throats. You fucking devils will not manipulate the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we are getting behind Colin Kaepernick. And you'll see if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, it makes you sick. And the fact that I love Spike Lee, you know, some things he says, I'm just like, okay, Spike, like, stuff like this, they purposely know who to get on these town halls and these little off the fly, you know, little shows they throw together. And Spike Lee, he was doing his best to fight it back. But you have 3 against 1. Two coons, a suspected white supremacist against Spike Lee. And you can tell Spike Lee's gotten older. You know, he's being serious, but at the same time, a little bit too jokey for me. I want someone to go up here and give it to these devils, okay? Because they are purposely making it about them. They're not making it about what it's truly about. This, once again, is racism. This is white supremacy at its finest. Deflect, 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 change the topic. We're not going to talk about it. Fuck them. Their lives don't matter. It's about us in this flag. It's about us. When they constantly do this, all I see is I see like Hitler, and I just see them doing their salute. This is all they care about. This is what it is. It's like fucking white. It is fucking white supremacy. They see no one else. It is only them, them, them. All the lives that have been lost to these race soldiers, fuck them. That's what they say. It's about us. We're out here doing this. It's about us. Your lives don't mean nothing to us. So here is the first part of it. Let me play it. Ugh.
Hey, we're back. Before getting to questions from audience members, I just want to read a portion of an open letter written to the NFL by Taya Kyle. She's the widow of Navy SEAL and sniper Chris Kyle. She writes, quote, "Your desire to focus on division and anger has shattered what many people loved most about the sport. You are asking us to abandon what we loved about togetherness and make choices of division. Will we stand with you? Will we stand with our flag?"
See, this fucking cave bitch here, she knows what she's doing. Division? Really? Has this fucking bitch said anything about Walter Scott being shot in the back? Has this bitch said anything about Sandra Bland? Has this bitch said anything about Tamir Rice? These fucking devils make me sick.
I want you to meet Vincent and Diana Bonacasa. They're the parents of Staff Sergeant Louis Michael Bonacasa. Sergeant Bonacasa was on his 4th tour in the Middle East when he was killed by a suicide bomber in Afghanistan, along with 5 of his brothers in arms. He left behind his daughter Liliana and his wife Deborah, who's also a veteran. And you have a question, I think, for Spike.
Yes, last Sunday, our community had a celebration for Gold Star parents. It was a very humbling ceremony, but it brought us back to the day we lost our son. It was a very empty feeling. We came home, turned on the TV, and there was the NFL players on their knees. That was a slap in the face to us. So my question is, how do you support the...
See, once again, making it about them. It's not about your son. Glad that your son was able to serve his country. All right? But this is not what it's about. See, you can tell he's a white supremacist. I mean, just look at him. You're going to hear. I mean, duh.
These multimillionaires on their knees and don't support what the fallen heroes died for.
Sir, I'm very sorry for your loss, but the narrative that you spoke about is not true. All these players said many, many times that they respect the armed forces, they respect the flag, and they respect America. And this narrative that when they take a knee is insulting your son who's no longer here is not true. They've said that again and again and again.
But there's a lot of people who look at this as disrespectful. When you see
a lot of people thought that
What about our lives, fucking Anderson? What about these black people being murdered in the street? See, this is why I don't do CNN. This is why I don't do none of these fucking disgusting media outlets, because they are purposely making it about these folks. They're doing it on purpose. Continuing.
In '68 Olympics, this is why I'm wearing this shirt. John Carlos and Tommy Smith, when they won the Olympics, they put the black fist up. A lot of people felt that was...
Excuse me, I have one other question.
Yeah.
When North Korea aims a missile at us, are these football players going to be on their knees? Or...
See, I guarantee you this piece of shit here, I guarantee you he's a Trump supporter. Okay? You could just, the racism is just oozing from his skin. And then look at his wife. I mean, she is literally a few steps away from being deported. Okay? Let's just fucking keep it real. Let's keep it real. If Trump had his way, his wife wouldn't be here. But anyway, continuing.
Or are they going to support our veterans?
Say it again?
When North Korea aims a nuclear missile at us, are these heroes that you say, NFL, that can't support our flag, are they going to be on their knees when this happens? Or are they going to support our veterans?
Sir, I'm worried just as much as Donald Trump as that crazy guy in North Korea. Yeah, and he has a nuclear code. I'm worried about that.
Reverend Quinn, you're worried about it too.
Huh?
Now, see, I will say, I will give Spike a lot of credit for that comeback. That was a decent comeback. But obviously, this father here, he's definitely a racist. I mean, you can't say anything more. It's just obvious. He is a white supremacist. And they are focused on the flag. They don't give a fuck about black lives. They don't care about these race soldiers, these race soldiers, these race soldiers, these race soldiers, because these race soldiers are doing the work for them. Okay? Period. Period.
Well, we're working together then.
Actually, if you could just speak to that. I mean, when you see the flag and you see what these players are doing, is it to you disrespectful to the flag?
It hurts me every time. I will say that. I'll say it hurts me. Because I know these guys, I met a lot of these guys personally, I know that it's not their intent to disrespect. I don't see it that way. But that's because I've had those conversations, I think. So as an outsider, I can understand how you would view it that way. And on the veteran side of things, on the veteran issue, I mean, we got 22 veterans taking their own lives a day right now. We have a lot of issues on that, and so that.
Yeah, that's a good point there. You think they'll talk about that? No. They're only deflected to the veterans because they want black people to shut up about these race soldiers killing us. That's it. Take the narrative off the true victims and make themselves the victims.
That's something that I think needs to be spoken about more and maybe demonstrated in some way, but we could never do something like that during the anthem, right? And I've actually spoken to, to players about potentially, mentioning that stuff too, that this is obviously, racism in America absolutely exists. It is an issue. We need to fix it. We're a great country, probably the greatest country, but we could be a hell of a lot greater. And I just think, if a lot of those guys would kind of recognize it's not the only issue, I think more people from that other side, that polarized, opposite, may listen, may open up.
Brendan Gilmore is here. Brendan tweeted a photo of his grandfather last week that went viral. In the photo, his grandfather, who's a 97-year-old World War II veteran, is taking a knee to support those in the NFL that did the same. Brendan also participated in the counter-protests in Charlottesville. He was a witness to the violence there. He served as a foreign service officer in Africa and the Middle East for 15 years. I think you have a question for Michael. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you. My grandfather and I both served, and we love our country, the flag and the anthem. But to us, patriotism is about something deeper. It's about the core values and ideas and aspirations that are enshrined in our Constitution, which has always been a work in progress. Now, my grandfather's action I see as saying, don't use my service to divide us and to distract us from the core issue of addressing systemic racial injustice. So I want to go back to the question that the Reverend had raised about what are the concrete steps we all need to be taking in a unified way, both as individuals and as a country, to make progress on racial justice.
Now, see, they get it. Okay? They get it. And we know what they're doing. We know the games the games that they're playing. I'm sorry, guys. It is late, but I wanted to get this out because it pisses me off. And we have to continue to push against it. And this coon here, just watch.
Malcolm talked about a lot of things that he was doing, engaging law enforcement directly. I think it's amazing. When I played with the Jets, we had this program called Goals for Youth, and actually went upstate New York, in rural upstate New York, and worked with migrant workers' children. These kids were so poor, dirt floor poor.
What does this have to do with what that man just asked? Nothing. And you'll see, guys.
I had never seen poverty. It was like Appalachian poor. I had never seen poverty like this. And I just spent time with each kid, 10 kids a week, and drove around from school to school. The graduation rate was less than 10%, went up to 90%. That's just one thing. I left Liberty University as a vice president to come to New York to run a soup kitchen in Times Square, in the old Times Square. These guys, these athletes are champions. Many of them are champions. They're not just physical. It's a whole emotional thing. I think what we need to do is Heinz, we need to be engaging them in positive things that we can do going forward. I'm not just talking about feel-good stuff.
He said a bunch of nothing. He did not answer the man's question at all. Nothing. This is coon babble at its finest.
Talking about stuff to get engaged and have these folks, have the wealthy folks help fund these things that we're doing. I don't believe government can do this.
Let me, I just want to introduce everybody to Joey Odoms. He was a combat veteran, a former member of Maryland's Army National Guard, and up until yesterday, the singer of the national anthem for the Baltimore Ravens. Joey announced yesterday, after 3 years of singing the Star Spangled Banner, that he was resigning. First of all, thank you for your service. Why did you decide to do that?
I felt like not all of me was welcome. The combat veteran was welcomed. The former 911 operator was welcomed. The person who sang the national anthem was welcomed. But the veteran who also saw that there was a reason for these players to be kneeling was not welcome. So I made this decision, that was not the place for me to be.
See, Amos, I think the league is in a unique position because we don't know how to deal with it. I mean, with the
So here goes the NFL version of Tiger Woods. Yeah, here goes this coon.
remarks of Trump coming out on Friday night, we talk about unity in the NFL, right? And so it seems like every NFL team was trying to figure out how to do it the right way. And they totally just bombed it, right? And the leader of our league, Roger Goodell, he was nowhere to be found. So through Sunday, teams were trying to figure out what's the best way we do. How do we do this after his remarks? You saw Pittsburgh Steelers. You see how we did it. We totally dropped the ball. Tennessee and
Oh man, this coon here, this super NFL coon here. I can't.
Seattle, they didn't want to be a part of it either way. They stayed in the locker room. Other teams stayed out. And then finally on Monday night, and it kills me to say this, hurts me to say this, the Dallas Cowboys, I think, came close to getting it right. You know, Jerry Jones, the owner, kneeled down with his players to show support for the players that
I need my tap shoes. I need my tap shoes effects. I can't with this. I can't.
was going through the protest. But at the same time, those same players stood for the national anthem.
Spike, I'm wondering what you thought of that.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Maybe you need to be the commissioner.
No, I got enough hatred already. Here's the thing. I was not buying that stuff, that show with the owners kneeling with the players or the arms locked up. I wasn't buying it because they're forgetting why this whole thing has happened. If they want to stop, if they want to unite with the players, Colin Kaepernick should have a job in NFL. So it's hypocritical for them to say we're all united, but we're forgetting the reason why this whole thing started.
Do you think it's a
True. That's true. What more can you say? That's true.
you think it's a blackball situation?
Yes.
100% because of his
Because
of his-
people do not like what he does, what he did.
But now the whole league is
I think it's a business. I think it's a business decision. I believe that you own a business, right? And you had the most qualified employee, right, coming in, which he is. He's very
Right.
qualified. Should he's
So you got to get real quick, not to mess up your flow.
you already
There's
did it.
32 teams in the league. Are there any teams where he could be the starting quarterback right now?
Okay.
How
Well,
many?
Yes, but that's
How
my
many?
point. My point is, if you could hire that person and but at the same time, you had that fear or that worry you may lose a large amount of your clientele, your
All
client
right,
base.
I got an
You're
answer
saying-
for you.
saying-
I got an answer for you. I got an answer for you. Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey made the decision, we're going to hire Jackie Robinson. Nobody else wanted him. That was the decision. The Brooklyn,
Jackie
no, let me,
Robinson's a Hall of Fame
he
baseball
wants Hall
player.
of
Fucking church coon at the end. Fucking coon.
What are you
He
talking
was a Hall
about?
of Fame paper before Branch Rickey hired him.
Yeah, but
There was-
Jackie
he was the
Robinson
first,
was-
he was
he
the
was
first
one of the
black
most
person in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but you can't compare him to Colin Kaepernick.
No, I'm giving you an example of where somebody made the decision.
Okay, somebody.
No. Branch Rickey made the decision. Alfred Mel says, I'm going to hire, no matter what Mel says, I'm hiring Jackie Robinson.
Okay, so he
That was a business decision.
It was a business
That was a
decision.
business
And
decision.
guess what? They made lots of money from it. It was risky at first, but here's the thing.
See, this is where I got pissed off because now it's gone from, first of all, it's not even about what it should be about, first of all. It's about this fucking hiding their fucking white supremacist rhetoric and racism behind patriotism. And now it's gone from this. You see how we are 10 minutes and 42 seconds into the special. They just say injustice or racial injustice. They are not talking about the victims of white supremacy. They're not talking about these race soldiers. They are only focusing on these white supremacist devils. And you have your shucking and jiving coons sitting up here performing. Period. And you see how they just threw Colin under the bus saying, oh, well, he's no Jackie Robinson, blah, blah, blah. Really? Ignore everything this man is trying to do.
Where do we go
Which
from here?
owner is going to be the
Where do
branch
we-
Ricky today? That's the question.
Where do we go
Which
from here?
owner is going to be the branch Ricky and give Colin Kaepernick a job?
I want to just introduce.
Colin Kaepernick has got a job.
Where?
He is a leader of a movement. He made a decision to put his career on the line. I salute Colin
But
Kaepernick for his
why
courage.
can't you do that in play, though?
Playing football
Why
is
can't
not
you
the
do that in
only
play?
thing in life.
Why can't you do that in play?
Hey, put him in the movies. Make a movie
All right.
about
No,
Colin
he just
Kaepernick.
don't play.
Yeah, let's do that.
Nah, that's okie doke. Nah.
Fucking coon.
I want to introduce. I want everybody to meet Brandon Rumbaugh. Brandon's a Marine who did combat tours both Iraq and Afghanistan. Corporal Rumbaugh survived an IED attack in Afghanistan. He lost both of his legs. Brandon, obviously, thank you for your service and thank you very much for being here. Thank you. I think you have a question for Nate.
Yeah. So unity, we've used that word a lot tonight. And I think that's something that I learned in both my tours overseas. But what I want to say is, I'd honorably stand next to, all of my fellow Americans during the anthem. That's what I believe and that's what I do. But after the fact, I would stand next to anybody.
See, you see what he just did there? So he's basically saying, I pledge my allegiance to white supremacy, and your issues come next, or whenever. This is what we mean by hijacking this movement. This is what we mean. At least he's still alive to tell this story. Walter Scott isn't. Sandra Bland isn't. Rekia Boyd isn't. Tamir Rice isn't.
That wants to peacefully protest for the racial injustice anyone is experiencing. My question is simple. Protesting the national anthem is adding fuel to a fire that was created by a few hateful people who think they are superior because of their white skin color or their job title. How can we as a country use another platform to achieve our goals but not disrespect something so many people, including myself, hold so dear?
In other words, stop interfering in my sports with your politics. We don't want to hear about it. Go protest elsewhere where you're not seen, and let that be that. That's all he's saying.
It's tough. Good question.
Action, man. 100%. And that's where we're at now. I mean, everybody's very aware. We're sitting in this room, we're talking about this. I'm not saying protesting to stop now, but I'm saying we're very aware. And there is a lot going on. There's a lot of players doing stuff, but it's not growing yet. And I think it needs to immediately. And I think, speaking of Colin, I love the guy, man. I sat down with him. Where's he at? He should be sitting in this room with us and talking about this, in my opinion, And
He's on the low.
He's on the low.
He's on the low.
But I think part of that is, is he going to be willing to lay down his arms a little bit and say, police chiefs and whoever, and then people in high places, high places. Is he going to be? Would he be able to sit in a room with Donald Trump and have a conversation? That would change a lot in this country if that happened somehow.
I just suspect him. I think he's trying to contain his true feelings. He knows Donald Trump is a white supremacist. He knows that Donald Trump is not going to sit down and talk with Colin Kaepernick. This is what I mean. This is time wasting. This is CNN with their bullshit. This is keeping up the story, making it about the veterans when it's not, when it is about all the lives, all the black lives lost to these devils, to these race soldiers. This is what it's about. They have literally neutered. They have literally killed or tried to kill this movement and make it about them. This is deception at its finest. This is white supremacy on code, lock and key. It is not about us. It's never been about us in their eyes. They don't care. They don't care. So it's up to us to keep fighting, to take the narrative back and continue to pound home what this is all about. Period. And there's more of this, but I don't think I can stomach much of it. But what I will do is I'll leave the link in the description box for you guys if you want to torture yourself with the rest of this. But I just wanted to show you guys. This is CNN's just typical shitty ass townhomes. Lord, I need to go to bed. Town halls. And the agenda has always been in favor of the white supremacists. Always. Or else they would have had definitely more help for Spike Lee, because he's up there by himself. You know, he held his own, but I felt like these devils need someone in their face, serious 24/7, no joking, no smiling, no nothing. This is what they need. They need the hardcore black truth, and they're not getting it. They're not going to get it on CNN. You're not going to get it because this is what they do on purpose, okay? But anyway, let me know what you think, guys. I am off to bed with my stumbling and my eyes are getting heavy, but I just wanted to put this out there. It doesn't stop for me. Let me know what you think, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.